And it's interesting that you mentioned that because even though you play, these kind of like typical characters and everything else, all right, you're kind of put in a position where you can be every man, you know? And most people think, well, and you just said it right now that you had to kind of go back and do a little bit of research to kind of understand the
Yeah.
character that you were going to be playing. How does someone who, doesn't have a lot, right, you're in there on the screen, you're there to represent this one character. Do you try to make yourself stand out in any way by kind of doing your research, or are you just like, hey, I'm going to show up, wing this, and kind of just knock this out?
I've done both.
Yeah.
But I think the basics of all of this is you have to be very, very, very comfortable with how the world sees you. Like the way I look is not my personality at all. Once you talk to me for any length of time, you say, "No, this dude's not," whatever. Probably just the exact opposite. But you have to be very, very comfortable with how the world sees you because that's how you get hired. They look
Right.
at my picture. My first headshots to me with a big goofy smile, and I still got work. But the moment I started seeing where this was leading to, I changed my headshots to a more stern look. And then, I mean, I really started getting the roles specifically towards that. And I had to accept, okay, well, this isn't what I am, but that's how the world sees me. So I have to embrace it. If that's what's going to get me hired and that's what's going to get me the calls, be comfortable with that. And when we talked about my own stuff and doing my own stuff, I've always preferred comedy because that's just what I find interesting. And I like to write and do silly stuff. But I learned pretty quickly that that's not how the world sees me. The one time I ever did get hired for something comedic was on a TV show called Preacher. I mean, my scenes are still in there. What I was specifically hired for was cut, which was screwed up because that's like, thank God I finally got something to be funny. No,
They find you
And they
funny.
cut you out.
Because,
They're like, oh, yeah, stick to being a cop, buddy. All right.
yeah.
I mean, you could always be the guy in the background. That just, like you said, you could stare down people. You can eyeball
Yeah.
them from the background. That's comedic. You could be someone who keeps lurking in like episodes, like a mysterious guy is kind of looking at people. Reality
So
show.
to go back to your question, I don't think I answered totally is you want to stand out. No, you don't. When you get hired, and again, it's a job. If my job is to be a SWAT guy, at this point, I'm not a cop or any of that stuff.